everybody, I just got back from a 300-mile road trip and I wanted to go over how the front Runner SlimSport did with a couple pieces of equipment up here as far as noise level inside the truck and then fuel mileage. So before I had this on here, I had all this same gear back on the bed rack. And I could hear that a little bit. It was a little bit noisy, but it wasn't terrible. It was just one of those noticeable things that it's a little bit louder. And by bringing it all up here, it didn't change at all. It didn't get quieter. It didn't get louder. It just stayed about the same. Now, I do have sound deadener in my roof. I did that when I took the headliner down when I first got the truck, and then I also dropped the headliner to put this on. So if you are going to install one of these on your own and you're dropping the headliner, I highly suggest putting some sound deadener in here. But even without the sound deadener, I don't think this is nearly as noisy as some of the old just single crossbars I've had in the past. You hear those things buffeting, you hear them whistling. I have had a lot of bad experiences with just single crossbars in the past on old trucks and old SUVs, whereas this, it's really solid. The wing comes all the way down to the hood so air can't get under it, and then it does a good job deflecting it up and over. And of course, I mean, I've got pieces of equipment up here. It's going to be a little bit, but I don't get any crazy whistling or anything like that. I will tell you, I used to have a cargo box on the back, and I just used a cheap Apache version of a Pelican case from Harbor Freight, and there was some crazy high-pitched whistling that thing was causing. I tried covering it with tape. I tried doing a lot of stuff. I couldn't end up figuring out where the whistling was coming from, so I ended up just keeping that in the bed of the truck because the noise was obnoxious, and that came right through even with the sound deadener. The other thing I will tell you, I have a Yakima road shower that I keep 7 gallons of water in all the time because I'm always out at the kids' farm doing projects, and I like to be able to clean up at the end of my job so I don't get all that stuff in the truck. But that said, I brought that thing up and put it on the roof rack the day I put this thing on, and I took it off the next day because it was so noisy. That 7 gallons sloshing around in there, it sounded like the suspension had gone bad. It sounded like stuff was just breaking loose, and it was so noisy. It was a complete surprise to me because I never heard it a single time full of water when it was over the bed rack. But as soon as it got attached hardpoint to the truck, to the roof of the truck, it was so loud I couldn't stand it. So if you do have a road shower, I would recommend, or any sort of long fuel tank or water tank, if you're gonna put it up here, keep it empty until you actually need it. Otherwise, it's probably gonna drive you crazy like it drove me crazy. So that's it. It's not that much noisier. I think it's a really solid roof rack. I'm really happy with it. Now we'll get into the fuel economy with this roof rack on here. So for total transparency, I used to have these on the bed rack and it was not below the airstream. So this was already catching some wind. That was catching some wind. So I was not totally sleek beforehand, but I did move it up here, brought it up to the front. And when I had all this stuff on the back, I might get like 19 miles of the gallon on a long road trip. And this time I did 308 miles. I got 17.52 gallons of fuel when I got back at the same pump with the little 2-click thing, the same as some of the other big YouTube channels do for their mileage tests. And I was able to get 17.6 miles to the gallon, so about 1.5 miles per gallon worse, averaging about 75, 80 miles an hour. So as you know, the wind resistance is, you know, your what is it? Your surface area times some sort of coefficient of drag times velocity squared. So as you go faster, it gets exponentially worse. And 80, 85 miles an hour is going to be substantially worse than going 65 miles an hour. It's not just, you know, that extra 20 miles an hour, it's that squared. So I was going 80-ish miles an hour for most of it, sometimes a little bit slower. I did go through a gnarly rainstorm, probably one of the worst rainstorms I've ever been in. And actually, about 8 or 10 cars ahead of me, a tree came down on I-95 and we couldn't see anything. A car apparently ran into it and it was all the way down across all 3 lanes and we had to go out in the shoulder to get around it. Absolutely nuts. I caught it on my dash cam, so I'll put it up here, but visibility was terrible. I will say this truck handled phenomenally in those really wet roads where it wasn't draining fast. The tires did great. I wasn't driving super fast or anything. I might have been going 25, 30 through some of that, but at no point did it hydroplane. It felt planted. It felt really good the entire time, so I was really happy with that. But that's not what this is about. This is about the fuel mileage. So I will say probably brings you down 1 mile per gallon by having this on here at freeway speeds. If you're driving around cities, you're probably not going to notice the difference. And honestly, I think it looks really cool. I'm excited to have it on here, and I don't think the cons outweigh the pros of having it, because the cons are minimal. The sound is no different, and then the fuel mileage is just a little bit worse. But I'll be honest, I mean, these things probably kill my gas mileage. Having the rack on the back probably kills my gas mileage. The fact that we have trucks that are up off the ground this much is bad for gas mileage, just because you have as much air flowing underneath, hitting the tires, hitting so much of the suspension, everything. It's just, this is a massive speed break going down the road. There's no question about it. But that said, I still absolutely love it. So anyway, front runner SlimSport rack is awesome. It's totally the way to go, in my opinion, for this truck. They have a Slim Line 2, which is a taller one. But honestly, this thing looks awesome. It kind of matches with the contours of the roof lines. So I'd say if you're on the fence and you're curious if it's going to kill your gas mileage or make it that much noisier, I would say go for it. Those are not things to be worried about with this roof rack. All right, guys, hopefully that's helpful. I will see you next time. Cheers.
It's over!